Coming up, the Gamecock men's basketball team sees a coaching change.
Meanwhile, free agency heats up for 2 major sports.
And finally, the Gamecock baseball team kicks off SEC conference play this weekend.
All of these stories and more tonight on Palmetto State Sports.
From the Blue Ridge Mountains and through the Midlands down to the coast, there's plenty of sports highlights and moments here in South Carolina. There's only one place where you'll catch all the action. This is Palmetto State Sports. Welcome into Palmetto State Sports. I'm Will Kronsberg.
And I'm Brianna Walton. Thanks for joining us tonight.
An update on breaking news from last night, the men's basketball coach Frank Martin has been dismissed.
The effects of coaching change reach way further than initially expected and could potentially affect future recruiting for the Gamecocks program.
Ridgeview forward and top 2023 recruit Gigi Jackson is expected to make his college decision in the next few weeks, and the hometown Gamecocks were an early favorite.
However, Coach Martin's firing could potentially damage the Gamecock chances with Jackson, given how closely the current staff recruited Jackson.
Over the next few weeks, Jackson will choose between his remaining options, including Duke, Auburn, North Carolina, Georgetown, and a possible jump to the NBA G League, as well as, of course, keeping the Gamecocks in the fold.
And while the Gamecocks coaching is declining, the Clemson head coach Marty Smith is thriving. The Clemson Tigers baseball team won their 2-game series against Northeastern.
The Tigers produced many runs to beat the Hurricanes 9-6 Friday and 10-4 on Saturday.
Meanwhile, on Saturday, the bats were hot for the Tigers with 15 hits on the game. Some clutch hits by Tyler Corbett, Jonathan French, and Dylan Brewer gave Clemson an early 7-2 lead.
But unfortunately for the Tigers, a loss on Sunday broke their perfect season. Northeastern Huskies were able to scratch across a 5-3 win over the Clemson Tigers.
The Huskies pitchers Wyatt Scotty sat down the Tigers left and right with 11 strikeouts and 7 innings pitched. Scotty allowed 5 hits, 3 runs, and gave up 0 free trips to first base.
A 5-game losing streak, a swath of pitching injuries, and a slumping lineup all suddenly vanished on Sunday as the Gamecock baseball team swept a doubleheader over top-ranked Texas.
Mark Keeson's squad out-hit the Longhorns 20-9 en route to a pair of wins and an appearance in this week's College Baseball Nation Top 25. Taking hold
of the second game of the doubleheader was freshman left-hander Matthew Becker, who struck out 11 and allowed just 1 hit over 6 innings in his first career start.
Going into it, I was obviously pretty nervous. #1 team in the country, first start. But as soon as I got up there, saw my teammates behind me, kind of just locked in, and it all fell in place.
The Gamecocks are on field right now at Founders Park facing Gardner-Webb before heading to Knoxville to open up SEC play.
And the second year of the Shane Beamer era begins with the first spring practice today.
Head coach Shane Beamer shared his thoughts on Spencer Rattler's first practice in the Gamecocks uniform.
I'll go in here, in a second and watch the tape of everything, but just first glance being out there, I thought he did a great job. A lot of the things that we do here systematically, organizationally, offensively are different than what, he had been used to at Oklahoma. So he got in the huddle some at Oklahoma, but primarily he did not. So just simple things, being able to walk into the huddle and call a play is different. Not that he didn't do that at Oklahoma. He did when I was at Oklahoma, and he did last year in certain situations, but primarily it was no huddle, and he was signaling plays and things like that. So it's a little bit different. And then
and the spring game will be April 16th at 7 p.m., but honestly, I don't know if I can wait that long. Seeing Spencer Rattler in I want to say green and black, but the quarterbacks wear a green jersey. Seeing him out there at practice today and Karen Joyner's back, and I'm just really excited for some Gamecock football, even though the baseball team is holding me over just enough.
I know, yes, the baseball team is satisfying us right now, but I cannot wait for the spring game to see which quarterback is going to take reins for Carolina in the fall. That's all for the headlines in Palmetto State Sports, but coming up, a look into the sports world beyond South Carolina, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Outside of the Carolinas, a look into the pros. SGTV News 4 sports reporter Spencer Ball is here to break down the MLB free agency so far. Spencer?
Thanks, Brianna. The MLB and MLBPA have finally reached an agreement on a new collective bargaining agreement. For all the fans out there, this means the opening day will kick off the 2022 MLB season on April 7th. But maybe the most exciting thing to come with this news has been the start of MLB free agency. With free agency opening back up for the first time since December 1st, we have seen some huge signings so far. The Giants picked up ace Carlos Rodon on a 2-year deal, bolstering their pitching rotation. The Dodgers managed to keep Kershaw in Los Angeles, but by far the biggest deal has to be the trade between the Oakland Athletics and the Atlanta Braves, which sent first baseman Matt Olson to Atlanta and 4 players back to Oakland in return. Although Freddie Freeman has not made a decision, the Braves making this move surely makes it look like the Braves legend will find a new team in 2022. Now moving on to more free agency news, this time with the NFL. A lot of moves have been coming from the team in the Mile High City. The Denver Broncos made a blockbuster trade to acquire Russell Wilson, finally giving them a good quarterback to pair with their young receiving corps, as well as adding defensive end Randy Gregory on a 5-year deal. Another team in the AFC West making a ton of moves has been the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers traded for Khalil Mack, signed Sebastian Joseph Day, and topped it all off by signing one of the best cornerbacks in the league in J.C. Jackson, giving him a 5-year, $82 million deal. Aaron Rodgers even re-signed with the Green Bay Packers on a 3-year, $150 million contract that lasts until he's 41, but the biggest surprise of them all comes in the NFC South with Tom Brady announcing that he's coming back to football after only 42 days in retirement. Now, the GOAT's return may bring him another ring, or it might keep him away from his luxury yacht for a few more months, but only time will tell. After the break, see what happened in Colonial Life Arena just this morning.
Welcome back. I'm Courtney Hollmon. Today, the University of South Carolina got an exciting visit from Good Morning America as part of their series called Rise and Shine, where they visit all 50 states. Students, faculty, and staff all got up to be at Colonial Life Arena at 6 a.m., where the live taping was held and where they got to be a part of the action and watch 2 South Carolina alumni, Kenneth Moten and Eva Pilgrim, do their thing as reporters for the event. The broadcast featured the band, the cheerleaders, and of course, the #1 women's basketball team in the country, with Dawn Staley being as energetic as ever, even if it was 6 o'clock in the morning. Oh, and I cannot forget about the star of the show, Champ Staley, who made an appearance as well. That dog is very famous.
That dog might be almost eclipsing Dawn's fame.
Most definitely.
I mean, Dawn is a legend, but everybody knows Champ.
Most definitely.
You know? Now, the thing is, I have an 8:30 class, so I feel like I get up early on Tuesdays, but I could not get up.
Man, I got up, I went. I have an 8:30 class too, and it was fun. It was fun. It was a lot more interactive than I thought, though.
Really?
They basically said like, hey, so this is what this shot is gonna be. You're gonna stand up, you're gonna cheer, and then wait, we rehearsed like 50 million times, and I was like, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, lady.
It sounds fun. It sounds like a blast.
It was
just
definitely a blast.
Mildly screamed at 6 a.m.
Yeah, exactly. But it was definitely a blast. I mean, I would definitely do it again.
Yeah.
Coming up after the break, a look into your Palmetto Sports calendar. Stay tuned.
Before we go, let's take a look at Palmetto State calendar.
Gamecock men's basketball, both Clemson Hardwood teams and the Coastal women's basketball team have all wrapped up their seasons, but teams are still active around the Palmetto State.
Dawn Staley and the Gamecocks women clinched the top overall seed in the NCAA tournament on Sunday and will kick off their run for the second title with either Howard or Incarnate Word Friday afternoon at home.
As for softball, the Gamecocks will host College of Charleston tomorrow night before heading to Auburn for a Saturday, Sunday, Monday series.
Clemson softball hosts Winthrop tomorrow night, as well as a series at Virginia Tech over the weekend, while their baseball team hosts Georgia State tonight and Miami Friday through Sunday. As for the Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina, softball actually had the spotlight today as they took down Charleston Southern in preparation for their weekend trip to UT Arlington. Meanwhile, CCU baseball visits NC State tomorrow night for hosting UL Monroe for the weekend. And finally, Coastal Carolina will host Maryland Eastern Shore in the first round of the Basketball Classic tomorrow at 7 p.m. Wrapping things up on the diamond, Gamecock baseball kick off SEC baseball season as they visit 5th-ranked Tennessee on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And a new addition to our calendar, both Clemson and South Carolina women's soccer teams will resume an abbreviated spring schedule with home games on Saturday. Clemson hosts Wake Forest at 2 p.m., while South Carolina faces Mercer at 5. That's all we have for tonight's edition of Palmetto State Sports. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at SGTV Sports, and to keep up with all of our content, be sure to also visit us online at sgtvonline.com. For SGTV News 4 Sports, I'm Will Kronsberg. And I'm Brianna Walton. From all of us here at SGTV, have a great night, Carolina. Forever to thee.